Shall we start?
We are, yes, we can start now.
Okay. You read the sutra and then we'll get started.
Yes.
Okay, the spotlight, sir. No?
Oh, yes, just once. I've just made you also the co-host. Good evening, everyone. We are on Talk 42 today. We're reading chapter 1, Sutra 43. The sutra goes like Smriti Parishuddhau Swarupa Shunye Varth Matra Nirbhasa Nirvitarka Smriti Parishuddhau स्वरूप शून्य इव अर्थमात्र निर्भासा निर्वितर्क. The regular translation is Nirvitarka Samapatti happens on the purification of memory. It is as though Chitta empties itself of identity. There is a shining of the object alone. Tavariyaji translates this as perception without judicial reasoning or intuition is arrived at when the memory no longer holds control. The word and the object are transcended, and only the idea is present.
So we'll do a little bit of revision. Last time we said that when an impression comes into the mind, there is an automatic naming, and this naming is done on previous knowledge or memory, right? So this naming is the word coupled with the imagination, coupled with previous knowledge, and coupled with the meaning which we see in the object, the meaning which we are getting from the object, right? So and he says that there are this first naming, that I see a rose flower and I say rose flower, right? Then that first naming we have called as vitarka. But then I say I like a rose flower and roses have thorns, and I start talking about the rose flower in my mind or with somebody else. That stream of thought which comes out of the first thought we have called as tarka. The vitarka is the idea in verbal form. Here, Mr. Tavaria is talking about the idea in non-verbal form, right? So tarka is the chain of reasoning which comes out of the first idea that follows the initial name. Now, in the Sutra 42, the Rishi said that can we pause the tarka, that once the idea is verbalized in the mind, can we sit quietly in the gap between that and the chain of thoughts which follow, the associative thinking which follows. In this, the associations start becoming weak in the mind, right? So the Sutra 42, we said Savitarka Samapatti. The idea comes in the mind, the idea is verbalized as the first thought, and that we called as Vitarka. And from that follows a chain of thought, which we called as Tarka. Now he's saying that between the idea as a picture, as a thought form, and the idea verbalized, which is vitarka, we hold the gap. So only the idea in picture form remains. Right? The idea in thought form remains. And this he calls that we have not even verbalized the idea. He calls this as nirvitarka samapatti. So these are two forms of samapatti. We are in the series of samapatti. So here he's asking us to now even go deeper, that to go beyond the what you call veil of verbalization or the waterfall of verbalization in the mind, to go beyond that waterfall into that space in the mind, into that space in the chitta, which is there is non-verbalization. There's an absence of language, there's an absence of words.
Correct.
So he's asking to us to go there. Now, so we'll say there is a raw picture or a negative, and there is a positive, which is the verbal picture. The negative is the subtle idea, or it is the what you call thought form. And then by naming it as rose, right, I have first created the first idea in the mind, and that is verbalized. So he's saying we must pause in that gap, this very subtle gap. Now, every perception, every action leaves a trace on the mind stuff, leaves its footprint on the mind stuff. This trace is what we call as smriti or memory. Smriti, now we want to go this time into the words, which we did not last time, but I won't go very deep in the words, just we'll try to look at the words. Smriti comes from the root smrut, to recollect, right? That is to recall. So the trace is there in the mind, but when I recall that trace, we call it a smriti, memory, something which has been recollected, something which was recorded in the mind, right? And something which has been recollected, that is called as smriti. It comes from smrut, the act of recollecting. What is memory? Memory gives us a kind of continuity in a life. I see a rose, but that perception of the rose is a fleeting perception. It's a very small perception. There's a glimpse. But then I say, I saw the rose, and that gives me a kind of continuity in life, right? And we said last time that all our memory is connected with I. I did, I was, I am, I shall be, right? So every tag of memory is connected with I. Like we tag our baggages, every memory is tagged with I, right? So what is happening? The memory just does not recall what actually happens. And we went into this last time, so I'm not going to go into deep into it. But the memory just does not recall what actually happened. It recalls what actually happened to I. So there is a, with every memory, I say I was 40 years ago, I did this. I am strengthening the I. Now, which I am I strengthening? Am I strengthening the real I, or am I strengthening the imaginary I?
False eye.
The imaginary I. So when I'm named in my childhood, the first name I get, that name is given an that name is the I is given a name, and from the sensitivity of real I move to the sensitivity of I as a name, and this is the beginning of imaginary I, right? So the now with every memory, this imaginary is I feel a continuity of I did this, I did that, and that is memory. Now, we said last time that there are two memories. There is mechanical or lower memory, and there is real or higher memory. Mechanical or lower memory is what is called as uh, all memory connected to I. And because Tawariya Sahib says that every, what you call, memory pattern is soaked in emotion. Emotion means it is soaked in like or dislike. So every memory, there is this like or dislike. Now, this, what does this like or dislike do? That takes the outer object to a certain memory. It creates a pathway in the mind. It creates a pathway in the chitta. So between the reception of an impression in the form of a thought form and the decoding by memory, there is a pathway. That is, the impression has come in the mind, it goes through a pathway, and that memory says rose. This decoding is done by the memory, right? But why did the pathway take it to rose? Why did the pathway not take it to just flower? Why did the pathway not take it to a bush of flowers? Why did the pathway only take it to rose? Because these pathways are fixed in the mind. These pathways in the mind, which take through education, sort of, right? Huh? But the education creates a fixed pathway. These fixed pathways in the mind by Gurdjieff are called as associations, right? In Shastra, we call them as sanskar, right? Now, uh, try to understand this. We say that this person, vyakti, this person, he takes everything negative. So all his pathways take the outer impression to negative memory, to a memory where everything is negative. So the pathways are fixed in the mind, and these pathways we call as sanskar or association, right? He is sanskared in taking everything negatively. These fixed pathways. Now, these pathways have been formed over a long period of time. Why does Gurdjieff call man a machine? Because man is nothing but these fixed pathways, these fixed mechanical pathways. So every impression from outside goes through a certain pathway. Now, if you count the pathway as a channel in the mind, as a groove in the mind, every time something goes on the same pathway, the groove becomes deeper. The sanskar goes deeper. The memory pattern goes deeper. And it is these memory patterns which habituate behavior. Are we then somebody can call us man is a machine because our behavior has been habituated. These pathways can become so deep that after some time, all our lives we live with fixed meaning, fixed ideas, fixed words about everything. Now, what is common in all our associations? What is common in all these pathways is that they all lead to lower memories. They are all I associations. They are all I pathways. They all lead to memory related to I. Right? And why do they? Because that gives us a sense of time. That memory gives me a sense I was 40 years ago. I did this 50 years ago. I did this 10 years ago. Yesterday I did this. It gives me a sense of me moving through time. This memory gives me that sensitivity of that I'm moving through time. Right? And this is the shallow memory. Now, memory cannot be changed. Right? Memory is memory. The center of memory is memory. But the pathways which lead to a certain memory can be changed, right? That is, it can take me to a higher memory. Can I make new pathways? Can I make new pathways in the mind which take me to a higher memory, which last time I think Sanket said work memory, right? So can I create a work memory, a new memory inside uh, what do you call the association does not take it to the ego memory, it takes it to a higher memory, which is being memory, right? So now somebody has insulted me, it takes me, I have been insulted, ego memory, right? But it takes me to a higher memory that if I react, then I'm reacting from a lower level of being. If I pause, then I'm trying to enter into a higher level of being. It takes me to a higher memory, right? These new pathways which we create, where the impression comes from outside and it goes automatically to a pause. This new what do you call pathway which we create in the mind is a new association, and the technique for doing it is to always search for higher meaning, to search for higher and higher meaning. Now we'll go into meaning. So memory is not consciousness, but the higher memory reminds us of our level of consciousness. Okay, if we do this behavior, it will come from this level of consciousness. If we do this behavior, it will come from this level of consciousness. And the meaning which we are searching in life is for higher and higher levels of consciousness. If we can rebuild these associations, if we can rebuild these pathways, and remember they are very deep pathways, they go automatically, they are reflex, which Mr. Tavaria, I was just writing some notes from his notes, he calls them as automatic reflex. They are reactions, right? And it takes years to rebuild those pathways. If we can rebuild those pathways, it will lead to a feeling of I which is independent of memory, which is a feeling of I which has not come from I am BA, I am MA, I am doctor, I am this. It will not come from an I from memory. It will come from an I which is free of and because memory gives us the experience of time, it will come from an I which is free of time. I hope till here I am clear. If anybody has any questions, I'll take the
રાજનભાઈ તમે જે હમણાં કહ્યું ને કે creating the new memory and everything pathway the
new
energy
pathway, not new memory.
new memory so
New
energy of
pathway.
sensitivity તમે કહો છો ને it should be I should be જે પણ new path છે એમાંથી without any memory it means only the energy of sensitivity is to be our pathway or what I just please explain about that how the energy of sensitivity will connect with this.
So if somebody hurts me by insulting me, right?
Right.
Now I pause in the insult.
Right.
So how do I pause in the insult? By sensing the insults.
Right.
If I go from sensitivity to sensitiveness, then I'll start reacting the insult. Am I coming across in this?
Right. Right.
So I want to pause. How will I hold my pause in the insult, in the pain? How will I hold my pause?
So sensitivity, energy of sensitivity.
Through
when
energy of
it,
sensitivity. Through the energy of sensitivity.
Yesterday you told about. Right.
Right.
It means when our pause goes deeper and deeper, the energy of sensitivity will increase.
It will keep on increasing. It will keep on.
Right. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Sensitivity allows me to pause.
Right.
Now,
right.
in that gap, I look for new meaning, a higher meaning.
Right.
Which takes me to a memory of a level of consciousness. Higher memory.
Rajen, that means what is the relation between the perception, direct perception, and the energy of sensitivity? When that both are related, means direct perception. Okay, you are seeing the sunset. You're nothing, only with perception, like energy of sensitivity, and they are how related.
So, where does my sensitivity take me in the sunset? Does my sensitivity take me to beauty? Does my sensitivity take me to divinity?
Right.
Right. Does my sensitivity say I am the sunset?
Right.
Right. Right. So each are levels of sensitivity.
Okay. It means when it is a deep energy of sensitivity, it directly related with the perception. Only perceive directly.
We are coming to that. We are coming to that. Artha matra nirbhasa. We are coming to that. We are on our way. On our way.
Thank you.
Otherwise, you will get me to put the cart before the horse. Right?
Thank you. Thank you. I will learn.
મારી ગાડી આગળ ચાલશે ને ઘોડો પાછળ ચાલશે પછી.
राजन भाई हिंदी में एक क्वेश्चन है.
Is there a difference between memory and memory pattern?
This is memory pattern, the association.
Okay.
But deeper memory pattern, what Mr. Tawaria is talking about is real memory pattern is a coded a level of tamas, rajas, and sattva. What he calls as IES. IES. Right? But we are not going to into that just now today. We'll talk a little about it, but we won't go into it just now. Right? Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
I try to bring things down to as easy a level as possible, because otherwise I'll be talking too much of technical terms, right? Now, with every higher memory, there is a new feeling of I, right? Later on, we learn to think not from memory, but to think from consciousness. And this is what he's trying to tell us. Can we take that step in this sutra from thinking from memory to thinking from a little higher level of consciousness? Now, so he's saying Smruti Parishuddho, clean the periphery of the memory, clean the associations. The memory cannot be changed. The heart cannot be changed. That is why he's saying change the circumference, right? Saying change the circumference so the associations are changed. And in changing the associations, it will be as if I have no I. So any memory connected with I for that moment, eva, as if Swarupa Shunya eva. It will have no form. So for some time, there will be no form of the lower memory. The memory is there. The heart does not go. But because no association is taking the impression to that lower memory, it will be as if that memory has dropped for some time. Eva Swarupa Shunya. Right? So we are creating a new road leading to a higher meaning, a higher this thing. Now, what is Smruti? Now, the Rishi has talked about Smruti at different places, 5 different sutras. We have till now gone through 2, and this is the third one of them. So we'll just talk a little bit about them. So in Sutra 111, where he's talking about vrittis, right? He's saying Anubhut Vishaya Asampramosha Smriti. Memory is the retention of an experienced object. I'm just taking it very simply over here. Another definition of memory we can give is Anubhut Gyan Vishayam. Anubhut Vishaya Gyanam. Now, when he's talking about memory in 111, he's talking about what do you call Smruti as a vritti, something which distracts the mind, which leads the attention into identification, right? So, which takes the mind into identification, which so here then in 120 is saying again Sutra 120 Shraddha Virya Smruti Samadhi Pragna Purvak Itaresha. Others others can progress either by faith, by energy, by memory, by samadhi, by meditation, by what do you call intuition, etc. Right? So the others can progress by this, but here the memory is talking about is a kind of aid to is a kind of work memory which points out remember to hold your presence, remember to pause, remember to self remember yourself. So this memory now he's saying smruti parishuddho, that clean the circumference of the memory. So for some time the memory is as if it is not there and the object shines on its own, right? અનુભૂત વિષય જ્ઞાનમ ભૂ એટલે something which has happened થયેલું અને anu with that follows which has happened, right? So that which follows is the registration of the experience, and to remember that. Now he's saying now this is smruti parishuddhi, that is parishuddho is the locative in this area, in this space of smruti parishuddhi. It is as if the memory has become shunya, swarupa shunya eva. It is as if, but the memory remains, please, it is just as if over there. the innate nature of memory to what you call associate itself with I drops at that time. It is a natural tendency of memory to verbalize rose. Now the association does not take it there. So the word rose does not come in, and now we've blocked ourselves over there, we paused over there, and only the idea of what is in front of me. And now the rose will tell me what it is. I will not need my memory to say it is a rose. I will not need the word to say it a rose. I will not my imagination, okay, this is a kind of flower, right? I will not need old knowledge over here. So this the suddenly I will understand that rose not by my previous knowledge, but by the rose itself. So we are coming to this. We are coming to this. I hope I'm getting clear over here, a little clear over here. If you don't understand, please do ask. Now he's saying
At
Swarup.
this again, please.
Huh?
Just I want again.
Yeah. Please go ahead. Please go ahead. Now, what are you saying?
Whatever you explained just now, just please explain again.
Yeah, I'll explain it again little later. I'll explain it again little later. I'm going to come back to this. I'm going to come back to this. Now, okay, let me explain it in a different way. That this is a phone. Now, how do I know that this is a phone?
Because I know previously it is a phone.
Because
In my
as Saurabh says, I have educated my mind to call this a phone. So I'm using my previous knowledge from memory to call this a phone. Right. But what makes me sensitive to the object?
Oh, right.
So it is light falling on the object. The sun's light is falling on the object.
Right.
And I use my previous memory that I know this is a phone, right? I use my imagination, oh, it is an iPhone or a cell phone or whatever phone, right?
Yeah.
I use my previous knowledge and I use the word phone, cell phone, right? And this becomes evident to me. What do we call evident?
Right.
It becomes, I know what this is, but how do I know what this is? Through my memory,
But barabar, this is my past memory.
through the word phone,
Right.
through my imagination that there of all the phones, this is this phone,
Right.
right? And through what do you call previous knowledge.
Right.
Can you understand? Now,
Yeah.
saying that association is not taking me to the word phone. So suddenly, this is there without the word phone.
Oh.
So this is telling me now, Artha Matra Nirbhasa. Now, this is self-evident to me.
Yes. Now I understand. Yes.
You understand what now I give you another example.
Yes,
How do I see this? How do I see this? I see this because the light of the sun falls upon this.
Right.
I see this because the light of the sun, if there's no light of the sun, how am I going to see it?
Right.
Supposing there is no light of the sun and this has its own light, earth, heart means to shine. If it is shining of its own, self-evident, then I'll say, oh, phone. Can you understand? So, so when objects around me become self-evident, they don't need the light of the sun to tell me what they are.
Right.
My inner light of consciousness tells me what they are. Then it is Artha Matra. I don't know whether I've been able to explain.
I could understand what you want to say.
Right. So till now I have lived my life where my memory, the words, the knowledge and imagination and everything is telling me what this thing is. Now suddenly that has dropped and I am asking this thing and you tell me what you are. There is no what you call There is no need for me to borrow the light from the sun to understand that object. It's science by itself. It is self-evident. Huh? That is, the seer and the seen is not divided by words. The seer and the seen is not divided by words, imagination, memory, knowledge, or anything. There is a direct knowing, which Mr. Tauria in the Sutra, in his translation of the Sutra, is called as intuition. It is a kind of intuition.
Oh,
Yes.
intuition. That's right.
So he's saying,
Is this relates to every impressions that we take, or it's only a certain type of impressions?
it is entering into that space. Initially, it will come as glimpses, and then it will, unless it comes down to our normal living, how will it really become a part of ourselves?
Right.
Right? So he's saying the mind is devoid of its own rupa, its own swarupa. Right? Now, this word swarupa, it means to sound, to show I am. So the inner I, see, there are two eyes. The imaginary I, which is formed of memory, which is reinforced by memory, which is formed by name and memory, and the real I, which is swa, right? And that swa is sounding inside, kolahal karu. It is making a noise inside. It is saying, it is giving out a vibrational tone. If I can hear that real I, right? So,
Only you can understand by vibration tone only, sir, Rajan bhai.
huh? By vibration.
Only you can understand by vibrational tone.
No, that's swa.
So I'm talking about swa only.
Right, from vibrational tone. From vibrational tone. If you listen to your own tone slowly, you will go to a feeling of I which is beyond memory, a feeling of I which is beyond time, right? By just listening to your own tone. Now, here we'll just a little play on words. We'll take just a small two possibilities. One, whose swarup has become shunya. Swarup is shunya, is empty. And one whose swarup is shunya. Right? We'll just play a little on the words over here. Right? So, in the third sutra in this, we have tada drashtuhu swarupe avasthanam. Right? So, the fourth sutra says vritti sarupyam itaratra. So we have when the drashta is not identified with the vritti, it is in its own swarupa. But when it is not in the own swarupa, it is taken the swarupa of the roop of any vritti. Can you understand what I'm trying to say? So
Yes.
the drashta has two forms. One its own form, and one the form of the vritti it takes. Right? So one, it is in its own form, but in another, if you take the idea of Shiva, then Shiva, Shunya is his nature only. He cannot take another form. Prakriti takes all the forms. Shiva is always Shiva, right? So there his form is also consciousness and his being is also consciousness, whilst here the drashta can in one be in its own form and sometimes can be in another form.
Rajan bhai, when the drashta is in another form, can the drashta can see when drashta is in another form, then
When he's identified, he does not know. He's gone to sleep.
if it is identified and if his conscious level is more, then it can be seen that he is identified and he can be the drashta.
You can
Is it
come to a
possible?
place where you see yourself being identified, and then a form where you pause and don't allow yourself to be identified. Right? And
Right.
that comes with self-observation. So, one whose form is empty and that is why there is consciousness. The outer form is empty and that is why there is consciousness. And one whose outer form and inner form both are consciousness, and that is Shiva. Right? So consciousness cannot change its form. It is always consciousness. It can be covered with the veil of Maya, but consciousness itself can never change its form. Right? But the drashta can change its form into, it can get identified with Vritti and come back to being a drashta. So he's saying Swarupa Shunya Eva, as if it is empty of its own form, because suddenly all the connections leading to I have dropped, right? No knowledge is coming, no what, everything seems empty. There is a Shunya over there, and there is then Artha Matra Nirbhasa. Now we'll try to understand this word Artha. Artha means meaning. Artha means object also. So everyone in life is searching for meaning. Say in my young days, money had a lot of meaning. So I searched for meaning in money. But now I'm 70 years old. I may not be searching for meaning in money. I may be searching for meaning in meditation, or I may be searching for meaning in this thing. So where do I find meaning in life? Where do I find meaning in life? So as our level of consciousness, as our level of understanding changes, we are looking for different places to find meaning. So when I was in college, maybe I find meaning in having girlfriends, right? Now you don't find meaning in having girlfriends. Then you may find meaning in having knowledge. But you don't meaning in becoming famous in life. I want many people to recognize me. So for me, I may find meaning in becoming famous in life. Our whole life is nothing but a search for meaning. Now, what is the Rishi saying over here? He's saying Artha Matra Nirbhasa, right? And this Artha Matra has to be taken as Prani Matra or Jiva Matra. Means the whole class of all Arthas. The whole class. Prani Matra means all that is living, right? All that is living. Jiva Matra, all that is soul, right? So similarly, all that is Artha, whether it is Artha for money, whether it is Artha for women or for the opposite sex, whether it is Artha for fame, whether it is Artha in knowledge, whether it is Artha in meditation, whether it is Artha in God. But in the end, we are all looking for Artha. Am I coming across in this? Am I coming across in this?
Yes,
So,
yes, yes.
so what is Artha of Artha? What is Artha of Artha? Artha Matra, Prani Matra, only Artha, only Artha. The meaning of all meanings or the eternal meaning in life. See, I per, and can we see this as life changes, meaning changes, right? And especially in relation to material possessions, in money. Maybe in some people it does not change, and even at 80 years they're counting every penny they spend. Uh, that is a different thing. But usually I would say with understanding with what do you call, as life progresses, but we are still searching for meaning somewhere, right? And this he's saying the meaning of all meanings, artha matra nirbhasa, the meaning of artha matra. So in everything, the meaning. Now I'll just try to give an example. Now I sit on the chair. I sit on the chair. So I'll say this is a very comfortable chair and this is my chair and I have all knowledge of this chair that I bought it for so much money or whatever that is. But all that suddenly drops. All the knowledge, the previous knowledge, all the information suddenly drops. Swarupa shunya eva, as if empty, as if empty. It suddenly drop, right? And the chair is as if telling me the artha that you come and rest in me. So the artha, just the meaning that something to rest in, the feeling of resting in. Now, so suddenly, when we enter into this state beyond verbalization of the idea, which is Mr. Tauria calls the pure idea remains, which he calls as intuition, right? Suddenly, we enter into a state where inanimate becomes animate. All that is I stops being I, and everything that is not I starts being I. So there's a Bhas means to shine. Artha matra nirbhasa. The the eternal Artha is shining, is self-evident. Now you don't need knowledge to understand the eternal Artha. The Artha matra is shining from that object. Okay, come and take rest in me, right? Or the plate, come and eat from me. Or climbing the stairs, climb higher by using me, right? Now, what will happen if we enter into this state of non-verbalization? What will come over there? So suddenly everything will become alive. Suddenly everything will become alive and it will boil down to our normal living. So if we are going to bang the door, in a mechanical way, we are going to bang the door. The door itself will become alive and it will tell us, don't bang me. I feel hurt when you bang the door. Right?
Super.
Right? Now, if we are climbing the steps very hard, the step will tell you, put your foot softly. I don't put your foot so hard on me. It is as if all inanimate objects in life start becoming alive. Right? So then you don't need knowledge that this is called a staircase. The staircase itself tells you, okay, take support from me, and you go up on the staircase. So the eternal earth is evident in everything. I don't know whether I've been able to explain this. Right?
Taras, both taras.
So suddenly I'm looking at the chair, but there is no I that it is my chair or anything. It is just a what do you call, as if you're walking in the desert and you've come to an oasis, and in the oasis you want to take rest. The oasis belongs to everyone. You just sit down in the chair and you take rest. So the earth, the meaning to take rest is shining out from the chair. Okay? Artha matra nirbhasa. I don't know whether we.
It means, Rajan bhai, it means here the whole imaginary I become, it means, so can any lie થઈ ગયો કહેવાય એવું કઈ નહીં, become a lie. It is a softness of the everything, you become so much soft in everything. એટલે શું કહેવાય લય જ થઈ ગયો આખો, એટલે આઈ જેવું પેલું ઇમેજિનરી આઈ જેવું કઈ રહ્યું નહીં એવું હોય રાજનભાઈ?
There's no imaginary I. There is, and softness, Mr. Tavarias calls this what you call universal mind is the most soft, gentle substance. Everything in life is made out of universal mind. Artha matra.
It is soft, everything is soft, right, Rajan?
The hardest staircase made of stone, granite, is also softer than the what do you call the heart of, is as soft as the heart of love, right? So then suddenly everything is alive in that state.
Rajan, then it is, I think you have all the experience of it. So Rajan bhai,
Don't.
Rajan bhai, રાજનભાઈ તો એ સ્ટેજ કેવું હોય એ જાણવું છે, એમ કે તમને તો આ બધા અનુભવ છે, because you become in that you become so much, we can feel it also ke you are that. तो
But
हमने थोड़ू कहीं explain करो please.
it where everything blesses us. Everything blesses us, right? We feel blessed that the staircase is allowing us to climb on it. We feel blessed that the chair is allowing us to rest upon it. We feel blessed that the plate is allowing us to eat from it. We feel blessed that
Mhm.
the glass is allowing us to drink from it. We feel blessed that the shower is raining upon us, right?
It
Earth,
it means your being become a gratitude. Is it so like that?
you feel blessed, full of gratitude, feel blessed.
Okay.
So suddenly you feel that everything has become alive.
Okay.
No, see, I don't.
Rajan, sometimes, sometimes it happens like that, suppose if I'm closing the window or closing the door, according to the past habit, you suddenly start closing door with that mechanical habit, but suddenly you realize, no, 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 no. That what is that gap between?
That is a pause. And you're moving from lower meaning to higher meaning. So every object in life becomes brilliant, as if it is telling us what it is itself without the use of memory or word or imagination, right? Or previous knowledge. Nothing is dead in life again. Now, I want to just, okay, yeah.
આ માટે તો તમને બહુ થેન્ક યુ કહેવાનું કહું છું કારણ કે આ સોફ્ટનેસની વાત તો તમે ઘણા વર્ષોથી કરો છો તે વખતે આવી સમજણ નહોતી પડતી કે આ સોફ્ટનેસનું શું વાત કરે છે તમે હંમેશા કહેતા હતા કે આ સોફ્ટનેસ એમ કે બધામાં જ હોવી જોઈએ તમે તો તે વખતે બોલવાથી માંડીને તમારા એટલે એનીથિંગ યુ આર હેન્ડલિંગ વિથ યોર બોડી ઓર એનીથિંગ યુ હેવ ટુ બી વેરી સોફ્ટ એવું તમે ઘણા વખત કહેતા હતા પણ તે વખત સમજણ ના પડી આજે સમજણ પડી કે શું તમે સોફ્ટનેસની વાત કરો. Thank you so much.
Right. Okay. Now, I just want to finish the sutra over here. Artha Matra Nirbhasa, right? But see, if I fall in love with someone, I feel a feeling of deep intimacy with that person. Similarly, then you start feeling a deep intimacy with inanimate objects, with your chair. It is not a possessiveness, but it is. You see the tree outside your window. You see feel a deep intimacy with that tree because now everything is shining forth with you. Now, I want to just talk about something else over here. We are going to divide these into three parts, and I have these are Taurya Sahib's notes which I'm talking about. One is objective mind. So after from the verbalization, whatever happens is objective mind. The incoming impulse meeting identical memory pattern, and before they fall into manas, as yet manas has not attached itself to them, that we will call as universal mind. Once manas gets attached and it goes and forms a thought form, and that thought form, before we verbalize that whole area, we will call as subjective mind. Can you draw the three, Keto? You should have drawn bit by bit. If you put everything together, nobody will understand.
Just doing it 1 second.
અંકલ તમે સબ્જેક્ટિવ ને ઓબ્જેક્ટિવ ને ઇન્ટરચેન્જ નથી કરી રહ્યા ને?
No. Directly with Taurya Sahibના notes માંથી લીધું.
So this is the first step, right? Which is the universal mind. When the incoming impulses and identical memory patterns are there, but
No,
they have not yet fallen into the manas, the flowing manas.
you made a mess of it. Just take a blank sheet of paper.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Now the incoming impulse is coming in. Show an arrow coming in.
Yeah, 1 second. Sorry. Mhm. Mhm.
They don't first just show an arrow coming in.
Okay.
I can't draw, otherwise I would draw.
Yeah.
Right. So this is incoming impulse. Incoming impulse is coming. Now it is meeting memory pattern. Memory pattern. Now to make a thought form, the third thing is the flowing manas. Manas here. Manas, right? Now before they both fall into manas, this area of meeting we will call as universal mind. The universal mind. That is happening at the, can you, how do I rub this out?
1 second, I'll just drop this off. Universe.
Or can you give me a new page?
Yeah. First 1 second, I'll just rub this off.
Give me a new page, otherwise.
Yeah.
Now, what do you call? So this area we are going to call as universal mind, and we have seen the 30,000 impulses come in. Now, out of that, 120 thought forms are made. 120 thought forms are made. And these thought forms, they travel from the back of the brain to the forebrain over here. Right? Right? This is the forebrain. Right? And the thought forms are traveling this way. Now, over here, so the minute they become 120, now it has become subjective mind. Till then it was, so here we have subjective mind, right? And this subjective mind lasts right up to here till verbalization. This till word, till we make a word out of it. So this process of ideation is happening in subjective mind, where the incoming impulse has an identical memory pattern has fallen into manas, and they three are moving together to make an idea out of it. They are creating a thought form out of it. This is the process of ideation. Now, let's try to just understand this. Now, once the word is made over here, the verbalization happens at this stage, then we can call that as objective mind. So, in this sutra, is telling us to cut off the objective mind and go into the subjective mind. Later on, he's going to tell us how to move from the subjective mind to the universal mind. But just now, he's telling us, going to take us into a long journey in subjective mind. Now, I just want to say that supposing we have a problem in life, is the problem subjective or objective?
Objective.
It is subjective. It is my problem. My problem. So whenever we have any problem in life, there is a, what do you call, picture of that problem in the subjective mind. But we try to solve that problem with the objective mind. We are using reasoning, thought, memory, past knowledge, experience to solve that problem. Can you, what do you call, can you rub this all out, Ketan?
Yes.
Right? So we have a problem and we are solving that problem with the objective mind. But this problem is like a picture in the subjective mind. The minute a problem comes into our mind and we give a name, before the problem came into our mind and we named the problem or started talking in the mind about the problem or talking to someone else about our problem. The problem was a picture in the subjective mind. Now, Tawariya Sahib is saying, if we can stop this process of verbalization, then we will see the problem as a picture. And if we can see the problem as a picture, then the solution to the problem is there in the picture itself, in the very seeing of the problem as a picture. But as long as we are verbalizing the problem, we are what do you call you taking the problem into the objective mind, into the in place of the subjective mind. As long as we are verbalizing it, as long as we are using past knowledge and all, we'll never come to a solution of the problem. The problem remains in the subjective mind. And he's saying it can be possible that we corrupt the picture in the subjective mind. He says this in his notes. So because we took this sutra this time, I just wanted to add that this is where he's talking about problem solving, to be able to move from the verbal mind to the non-verbal mind, to see your problem as a picture and to immediately see the solution to the problem. I just wanted to add over
And
here.
Rajen bhai, whenever problem is there is always verbalization, right? Suppose if I'm sick, so there is always sickness. What is the cause? That everything is in the verbal mind, right? But you said that you see picture in the subjective mind. That how can it work? What is that technique to see the picture in that subject?
So just now I have a headache, right? So can I just go into the sensitivity of the headache?
Oh, right.
Then the words will drop. Then reasoning of the headache will drop. The complaining will drop. Everything will, and there will be a solution of the headache as a picture. This is what he's trying to tell us, that you move from savitarka to nirvitarka, and from nirvitarka you move ahead. Nirvitarka, you stop verbalization and you're looking at it just as an idea, as a pure idea, as a pure thought form.
Oh. Mm-hmm. Right.
The questions anyone has? Any other questions? So we'll finish Sutra 43 over here. We've taken 2 talks for it.
Uncle, one question.
Yeah.
As you said that when we try to analyze the picture with the objective mind, it gets correct. But if we uh, revisit that picture with the subjective mind, that is fine, right? It won't get corrupt. I mean, because it is multidimensional, we can keep revisiting it, right? But that also is a problem.
The problem as a picture, the minute you see it in the subjective mind, the solution will be there. There's no need to revisit it.
But if one want to see the different dimension of that problem or picture.
You try, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know really what you're talking about. I can't understand. Right.
Okay, when you see the solution in all the dimension. That is what you are saying. In totality, you mean.
The solution comes out.
Okay.
The solution comes out. Right.
રાજનભાઈ આ તો શીખવું જ જોઈએ.
શું જોઈએ?
જોઈએ એમ.
No, I can't understand. I don't know.
No, she's saying that આ તો શીખવું જ જોઈએ.
Ah.
Can we maybe discuss this with an example?
What?
આજે તમે અત્યારે point કીધો about solving a certain problem by seeing it as a picture in the subjective mind. So let's say હવે બિઝનેસમાં કંઈ problem હોય અગર. So what would that picture be like in the subjective mind?
It will be something where the pendulum will stop in the middle. So there are 2 sides to the problem.
Mm-hmm.
One is the what do you call the negative side and the positive side.
Mm-hmm.
And you try to look for something third which makes the whole thing into a whole picture.
Mm-hmm.
You'll be able to see something third. supposing we had a problem, right? Say, let us call it the what do you call the Ram Janmabhoomi problem.
Mm-hmm.
To build a mosque, somebody wanted to build a temple.
Yeah.
The problem,
Yeah.
right? And of course, the court said that there is a temple, and it gave a one-sided what do you call judgment,
Mm.
right? Another alternative could have been that this area is totally closed. We are giving you new land. On this land, we on one side we'll build a mosque and one side we'll build a temple,
Mm.
which would have been a total solution outside of the problem.
Mm.
You get what I'm trying to say?
Mm.
And right? But so whenever we are solving problems, it is always one-sided.
Mm.
Whilst in the picture, it will always be in the middle somewhere.
Mm.
Because life is a balance between this and that.
Got it. So the first step here is to create a picture of the problem we are going through
It is
in the
already,
mind.
picture is already there.
So that picture is verbalizing itself in thoughts.
Stop our thinking about the picture.
Hmm.
Only then will we get an intuition of the picture. Try to
Got it.
go back to Mr. Tawaria's translation of the sutra.
Okay.
Perception, perception without judicial reasoning. That is savitarka to nirvitarka.
Yeah.
Or intuition.
Hmm.
You see the picture. You see the
So
picture.
basically, you stop the verbalization. A lot of that verbalization will come from worry, will come from fear. You stop that verbalization, then the picture remains.
Right. How do you stop the verbalization? By going into the sensitivity of the,
Sensitivity.
because in sensitivity there is no verbalization.
Hmm.
So, uncle, when try to see the picture, by mistake we are not visualizing it, na? There are chances that we visualize it.
Visualization can become a key to see the picture.
But then it will have our own tinge into the real picture. No?
Visualization, again, I'm telling you, can become a key to see the picture.
Okay.
If I can visualize my headache, then it will immediately go into the picture because there is no verbalization in visualization.
Then whatever comes in front of me, that is the picture. I have to accept that as a picture.
First of all, how to, again, you're saying when you visualize, you're making your own picture. But you will enter into the world of pictures. You'll use it as a key to enter into the world of pictures. Then the real picture will come out of your visualization.
Okay. Got it.
Shall we stop here? Right? Now for Yoga Sutra, I'm going to take, today is the 4th. So I'm going to take a long holiday. So 28th and so we'll meet now for Yoga Sutra on the 8th of November. 8th of November. Right. So, and on Wednesday will be the last talk for purpose of birth and death in Gujarati. And tomorrow will be the last for in English. After that, everything in November. Everything in November. So tomorrow English last talk on purpose of birth and death. And then Wednesday last in Gujarati. And then I'm taking a nearly 3-week holiday for that after that.
Sir, Rajan sir, yeah, I wanted to share something.
Yeah.
My nails, all my nails were infected with nail fungus, and I had asked for medicine from you also. But then eventually, whatever you're telling today, I did that only. And eventually, I started getting the answers. And now my nails are perfectly all right with this only. All
Wonderful.
this visualization and then getting the answers from that picture. And I left all the medicines. I said, no, this won't work for me. I'll get the answer on my own. And then I started getting how to get it done. And so now all my nails, and it was very serious problem, sir.
All her nails had fungus. She
Yeah.
has visualization been freed of.
Yes.
Right. And I'll give you one example. What you're saying makes sense because I remember patients used to come to Mr. Tavaria. And one of the ways of, curing where people get vitiligo,
Mhm.
he used to say, sit in mirror and visualize yourself that the color has come back. So wherever the patches of it you visualize, they have cured in the mirror and they will cure. Right.
In
So,
the dream also, I used to get this, yes, it is coming out and everything is coming out from there, and a new nail will come, and eventually that only happened.
right. Very good.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Too good.
And so your lecture on this subjective mind and universal mind on Tavariaji's notes is very, very useful. I mean, everybody should listen to that lecture. It's
It
actually very.
sort of is a companion to this talk, what we talked to.
Yes, exactly.
Into this talk, right?
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, Rajen. Thank you.
Thank you.
Enjoy
Thank
your
you very much.
holidays, Rajen.
Bye. Good night.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Good night.